Sebring was 19 years old when he survived the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. After enemy planes sank ships like the USS Arizona, he resolved that he would help America strike back and win. He wanted them to strike back and win.
Yeah, hello folks, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, like and share. So folks, on the 4th of July, fireworks lit up the sky, but another spectacle shocked millions of people online. While Americans celebrated freedom, viral videos of Patriot Front marches and controversial encounters involving people of color, that is black people, sparked one question: is freedom really equal to everyone? So folks, I won't talk much. Let's watch the following videos.
Important message for Washington, D.C. today. Them white Christian nationalists is outside. They masked up. They all dressed in unison in the same uniform, and they not looking for peace. They out here to cause havoc. They are out here to interrupt our peace. And I just want to say, I was going to say a few days ago, I don't want people from here outside downtown at all this weekend. This 4th of July, it don't feel right. This whole America's 250, it don't feel right. It don't feel normal. And we have never been one to really support and celebrate the 4th of July. But if you do want to celebrate with your friends and your family and have a good time on this good holiday weekend, stay across the river. You know what I'm saying? Stay in PG County, stay in Southeast. You know what I'm saying? We usually used to go up the top of the hill and on the south side or Temple Hills and just watch the fireworks from there anyway, or go down to the National Harbor. But do not go down there. But if you do have to go down there, black people, like if you work down there, you have to be down there. If you live down there, you have to be down there, because these are our communities. I need you to stand with each other. If you see them peoples, make sure that you know where all of the black people around you are, so that y'all can stick together for whatever's coming soon. You cannot carry in Washington, D.C. So if these people are carrying, then they need to be locked up. They need to be arrested. What is the National Guard out here for? Why is it a whole task force to keep the city safe and beautiful, but you have these masked assailants, these thugs out here walking around in our streets, and they not doing nothing about it? Let me tell y'all, if you see black people out there, I need y'all to know where each other at all times. I need y'all to stay vigilant. I need y'all to stay arm in arm, connected together, because I'm not feeling anything that's going on today. These are pardoned January 6ers. These are judges. These are doctors. These are lawyers. These are police officers. These are military members. That's why they wearing the mask. This the new Klan. We know what the fuck is going on. Spread the word. We know what to do.
By now, many of you have no doubt seen this shocking, stark image taken on the 4th of July in Washington, D.C. on the Metro from Reuters. It's the picture of a young girl sitting alone and brave, a young black girl surrounded by all of these white masked men, too afraid to show their faces in public. These are members of a group that calls itself the Patriot Front, though they are obviously not patriots in terms of their bigotry, and it's hard to call a group that won't show their front a front of any sense. So let's just call them the PFEs. I'll tell you about the PFEs. After the disastrous, murderous Charlottesville Unite the Right rally in 2017, the PFEs split from a different hate group, the white nationalist group called Vanguard America. Vanguard America apparently was too Nazi adjacent, and the PFEs wanted to be more cloaked in American patriotism. Since almost all of them hide their faces, here is what we know about them. According to extremism experts, they are headed up by this one guy, Thomas Rousseau. He's 27. He does show his face in public. He has been accused through the years of being part of a group that vandalized a statue of tennis legend Arthur Ashe, part of a group that was arrested for plotting to disrupt a gay pride parade in Idaho. It's basic bigoted punk loser behavior. And honestly, that's the whole vibe when you dive deeper and learn more about who these guys are. Sad young white guys with little going on in their lives who seem to blame everyone else, the Jews, the blacks, the gays, whatever, for their sad situations. We learn their identities when on occasion they run afoul of the law. Jacob Zack, for example, was 19, living at home in Illinois when he was arrested for gun charges. Joffrey Cross was 33, arrested in Houston on gun charges. A former Army private, he did 5 years in prison for distributing controlled substances. The New Yorker magazine a couple years ago did a deep dive on the PFEs, and it kind of was summed up by this one passage, quote, "A Nazi Watch website reported that a Seattle area Patriot Front member was, quote, known for his extreme social awkwardness and, quote, incel-like behaviors, and was, quote, so subservient to his network director that he would and has peed in a bottle on the highway rather than be a mere few minutes late to a meeting." So don't be fooled by a parade of men acting tough, walking down the street. You take off those masks and they are exactly who you think they are.
This 4th of July, I say celebrate a Black woman that you know, because whether it's an invention that she made or whether it's the very democracy that still hangs by a thread right now, there is a Black woman to thank for her contributions. When it comes to answering the question of what America owes Black women, the answer is everything. When we think about the sacrifices that Black women have made from the moment that we were stolen from our homelands and transported into this country.
The 4th of July is about Independence Day. Us as a nation declaring our independence from Britain. Not Black women. What the hell is Jasmine Crockett talking about? This is why, bro, Black women? No, sweetheart, America. The Declaration of Independence, the Founding Fathers. The fact that these men said our freedom and our rights come from God, not the government. Big difference. Not a king, not a queen, God. What the government gives you, it can take away. So we celebrate the fact that these men had the courage to declare our independence from Britain and build a country on these ideals and these values. So again, it's not about Black women. And this is why people look at Black women so often and think of them as jokes, because Black women will come out and say stupid things like this. On the 4th of July, think of Black women and think about Black women. Shut up. Independence Day is about the greatest country in the history of the world. Are Black women a part of that country? Yes. Are we going to make this day about, or that day about Black women? Absolutely not. Black people in this country do better than almost Black people anywhere else on the planet and have more opportunity in this country than any other Black people on the planet. There is no other country in the world that spends more money on social welfare for Black people than the United States. So Black people have more opportunity in the United States than anywhere in the world. And Black people receive more welfare from the United States than any other people, any other Black people in the world. We should be thanking this country. Again, not thinking about Black women. And I know a lot of you, well, Jeffrey, your ancestors were a slave at the time of, the Constitution being written and the Declaration of Independence and all these things and blah, 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 blah. You guys are missing the point. The genius of the and I said this yesterday, I read it out loud, I'm going to read it again. The genius of the founding documents is that they contain the tools for self-correction within the system itself. The principles were sound. We fell short in our application of those principles, but those principles are what have allowed us to be where we are today. And that's why we should be celebrating Independence Day, because those principles are what have allowed Black people here to be some of the wealthiest on the planet, while also receiving the most welfare of any other group of Black people on the planet. So on the 4th of July, less about Black women and more about the Founding Fathers, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, America.
Happy 4th of July, but please remember that 250 years of freedom is not true. That is just some shit-ass marketing tool. We have not been free for 250 years because slavery only ended 161 years ago, okay? Not 250. Black men didn't have the right to vote till 156 years ago in 1870. Women didn't have the right to vote till 106 years ago. Native Americans 102 years ago. The civil rights movement, and therefore Black women having the right to vote, is only 58 years ago. This is not even a full lifetime away. This is your parents' or grandparents' generation. Women couldn't have a bank account in their own right until 52 years ago, 1974. Marital rape, yep, you heard me right, marital rape didn't become illegal until 1993. That's 33 years ago. The last school to be desegregated was in 2016, 10 years ago. So every time I see something about 250 years of freedom, it only applies to white men. White men in the United States have had 250 years of freedom, but that is it. So, remember, unless you are a white man who is born in America, 250 does not apply to you. And it's important to remember that because this country is not some amazing, beacon of equality and freedom like it claims to be. 10 years ago, schools were still desegregated. Shit, I worded that wrong. You know what I meant there. Anyways, that's all I have for today.
When black folks celebrate the 4th of July, it just shows how ignorant they are about American history. Because the 4th of July was never about black folks. Our ancestors were still enslaved. They didn't celebrate with the Europeans. The European gained independence over Great Britain after they won the war. The black folks wasn't included in that. They were still gaining off of our backs. They were still winning off of us. So for us to go and celebrate with our oppressor, with the slave master and their families, shows how ignorant we still are to this day, and that we really don't want to wake up. Some of us, not all of us. But for us to celebrate with them is foolish. It's more honorable for a white person to celebrate Juneteenth than it is for us to celebrate the 4th of July. Because at least they standing with black folks to say that they was against enslaving us. And they was against the injustice against us. For us to celebrate with them stands for nothing. Because we were still enslaved. It stands for nothing. This day means nothing to us. The 4th of July means nothing to me at all, because I know the truth. And for us to celebrate is just proof that we still don't want to know the truth, or that we just ignore it and go with the flow. Still lost in the sauce.
Here's what we know about the white supremacist group marching through Washington, D.C. today on July 4th. Reports are saying that this is the group Patriot Front. Estimates say that about 300 to 400 of them have been around Washington, D.C. They have been spotted at Union Station and throughout the Capitol Hill area. They have been seen marching with several white supremacy flags, including the Confederate flag, and according to reports, they have been chanting to reclaim the United States and to get rid of immigrants. And to anyone who says this is not the United States, this is exactly what the United States is and what it has been for 250 years. A country of white supremacists who refuse to let black, brown, LGBTQ members and marginalized people just exist. And they have been emboldened and allowed to grow because of Donald Trump and his administration. Because this administration is allowing masked men to disappear black and brown people off our streets, and that are marching down the streets in mass saying that they're reclaiming this nation, land that they stole from indigenous people, and that enslaved black people to build it, and then created laws and system to hurt anyone that wasn't part of their white world or their white agenda. And on the 250th, there's no hiding except their faces. They're putting on full display what the United States is and has always been. This is America.
There's a lot of criticism online of the 460 Patriot Front members that went to the Capitol for the 4th of July yesterday. And there's one photo in particular that a lot of people are criticizing, saying that a bunch of white nationalists are surrounding a black woman on a train. This is the photo that they're talking about, and it shows all the Patriot Front members on the train and one lone black woman in the seat. But I'm also going to show you this photo of one white woman with one black man on a train. And I just want to have you guess which person made it home to their family that night. Was it the black woman surrounded by white nationalists, or was it the one white woman with one black man on the train? Which one made it home safe?
What is it like to be on the metro with a group of men that are labeled as a white supremacist group? I talked to this man, Roswell Encina, about what he was feeling.
Nothing really prepares you for something like that, and you tend to tense up and kind of wonder what's happening. I'm not the first person to go through all of this. Ruby Bridges, there's so many African-American kids and teenagers and students from the 50s and 60s that went through worse.
I had actually interviewed Roswell about 5 years ago as well about a different incident on the metro where a group of kids had poured coffee on him and another Asian American passenger, but they left all of the non-Asian passengers alone.
It's kind of hard to believe that was almost, 5 years ago, Amy, that when we first chatted about all this. It's just a reminder of the divisions in this country. It's always tough going through something frightening, and that makes you terribly uncomfortable at the moment. But I do believe that there's hope.
You cannot be pro-black if you're choosing to celebrate the 4th of July. Whichever way that you choose to dress it, they are still capitalizing off of the amount of profit that they are making from individuals celebrating a holiday that people were basically enslaved, not emancipated, not given freedoms, and not recognized for their actual contributions into the American government and people that we get to celebrate today. So I'm going to celebrate by spending absolutely no money and enjoying the sunrise that this white man cannot see, because this is the very same individual who had the audacity to create an African-American zoo for people to enjoy at a circus, specifically this section. That industrial building is where Little Liberia is, and those are two last standing buildings, okay, of the Freeman houses. A lot of people do not know how significant Connecticut runs deep in slavery. They were amongst the last to allow the emancipation of slavery, and this man thought it would be a great idea to create profit off of that by creating this beachfront for the civil rights and the Civil War people so they can have a place to come, and the emancipated individuals who also got their freedoms, but instead ostracized and made a profit off of them by putting them into a zoo so people can look at them as an oddity. You cannot celebrate a holiday that does not support you as a human, that does not support your culture and or your people. Please understand, just like how it is for Thanksgiving, oh, it's just friends coming together. No, it isn't. It's still somebody's demographic who has been erased from American history, and that is disgusting. And people are capitalizing off of the profit that they're making because it's just people coming together with their friends. Same thing for the 4th of July. You don't see them boasting and throwing up so many different capitalistic ideas when it comes to the actual celebrating of people's culture, such as Juneteenth, such as the Native American indigenous individuals, or how it is that they choose to come together and celebrate their culture, even Hispanic heritage. Please be woke, my dears.
Every American needs to see this image today. This is the Washington, D.C. Metro. You see white nationalist Patriot Front members marching on our nation's capital on America's 250th anniversary as one person looks on. She's not masked. She's not hiding her face. She is sitting, a commuter, in a sea full of white nationalists, a sea full of people chanting to, quote, reclaim the United States of America, a sea full of people who are masked, who refuse to show their faces out of cowardice, a sea full of people who want people like her to not have rights in the United States of America. This image was taken by Reuters today. It was on the DC Metro, and it's an image that I think every American needs to see as we recognize America's 250th anniversary. We have cowards riding the Metro, and we have a brave commuter sitting not masked in the face of it all.
Yeah, folks, the 4th of July is supposed to represent the very best of the United States of America, about freedom, equality, and the promise that every citizen stands equal under the law, whether black, whether white, whether rich, whether middle class. It's a day when families gather, fireworks fill the sky, and politicians remind the country of its founding ideals. But this year is very different. Another story competed for America's attention. Video of Patriot Fronts marching in coordinated formation spread rapidly across social media, raising fresh questions about extremists and public demonstrations. For many viewers, the image were unsettling. They wondered how a group of widely criticized for promoting white nationalist ideas could appear so openly about during a celebration of American freedom. At the same time, the viral videos and images sparked discussions about how some people of color experienced the holiday. The image on your screen has become part of that conversation. It appears to show individuals associated with Patriot Front on public transport while black passengers sit nearby. The image itself doesn't reveal everything that happened before or afterwards, but it has been widely shared as people debate what it represents. But for many Americans, moments like this raise broader questions about whether the nation's ideals are applied consistently. Some argue that people of color often face greater scrutiny in public spaces and during demonstrations, while extremist groups have at times appeared able to organize public events when fewer immediate obstacles. Others disagree, as usual, saying each incident should be judged on its own facts and that viral clips rarely capture the full context. So, for whatever perspective you hold, one thing is very difficult to ignore. America continues to wrestle with questions about race, about public safety, free speech, the freedom of speech, and equal treatment under the law. Those conversations did not stop when the fireworks ended. They only became louder. The 4th of July celebrates the birth of a nation, but every generation must decide whether the values written on the paper are fully reflected on everyday's life. That debate remains one of the defining conversations in America today. The 4th of July reminds America of the country's highest ideals, but it also invites reflection on how these ideals are experienced by different communities. Whether you believe these viral moments expose deeper problems or think they are being interpreted through different political lenses, they have clearly sparked a national conversation. Now I want to hear from you first. Do you think America is living up to the principles it could celebrate every Independence Day? Or do these events reveal that there's still a long road ahead? So folks, don't fear to share your thoughts. Share it respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoy fact-based commentary on the biggest story shaping America, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.